Okay. So UX research. I know this is probably not your jam, not a lot of people's jam. Um, but I do think once you get used to doing it in a form that you enjoy and that you really like, it does get easier. Okay. So bear with me. Walk a mile in the user's shoes. Sorry, something's going wrong over here. We know that UX is all about making products that are purposeful, easy to use, and are also enjoyable to use. We want people to be overall satisfied with their experience and with the product. No matter how hard we try, people will use or misuse products we create in ways we never saw coming. We use UX research to give the product the best chance of success in potential and hostile environments. Everyone's hostile these days, right? Arming yourself with as much data as you can at the onset of a project will help you make more informed decisions rooted in the inarguable research. So that's where you can say, nope, I'm right because of XYZ. I have the proof. User research is all about getting to the bottom of what makes the target users tick. What does the user think? What motivates them? What frustrates them? We can utilize user research by observing the user perform tasks and getting feedback from them. Having them perform these tasks, there's lots of ways you can, or you should essentially be paying attention to their body language, to if they're squirming and moving. So we always want to make sure that we're keeping an eye on just about everything. Quantitative research it can be redefined or can be defined as is the creation of statistical, numerical, and analytical data. So quantitative data is counting and measuring and interpreting to find patterns and commonality with numbers and charts. So this is where you would get into that back end Google Analytics for a website.
Okay, if the website is not mine and I would like to look into the analytics of another company,
it's not public. No, you'd have to be able to go into them. You can't just go and look at everyone's analytics.
Okay.
In UX, a common source for quantitative data is through web products or web product analytics, such as Google Analytics. So Google Analytics provides many types of data that we can analyze, interpret, and make assumptions by. We can measure and observe the results from several sources in Google Analytics and use that data to make decisions about the web product. Gosh, my dog is very needy this morning. Come on. Qualitative research deals with the behavioral assessment of product, how a person feels or reacts, is insight to understanding their belief system and tendencies. Qualitative research methods consist of many tools and techniques, including usability testing, focus groups, etc. A great technique to get a clearer picture of the user and their motivations is by conducting a person-to-person interview. So you might not be able to actually, in fact, be in person, but even by Zoom, you can get a pretty good idea of what that's like, or how that person's reacting, I should say. The best way to get a clear picture of the user is by using a balance of both quantitative and qualitative. So, because some people, like, they'll sit there and maybe they'll say like, oh no, I hate that app, I never use it. And you're like, you actually use it often. You know, it's like, oh, I never go on Instagram, I hate that app. And you're like, you're on it 7 hours a day. You know? You might not realize it, but the analytics will show it. Again, I won't play this video, but you folks can go ahead and watch that another time. Types of UX research methods. So every web product contains variables and characteristics that make it unique. So thankfully, there's several types of UX research at your disposal to use depending on the type of product. Lots of different ways here. Focus groups is very popular. Participants are part of a discussion. This also happens in regular design, not just in UX and UI. We have focus groups to see, like, did they like this ad? How are you responding to this ad, etc. It's the same. How are you responding to this website? Are you able to function through it, etc., etc. Card sorting. So this message challenges users to organize cards into categories and groups. So sometimes you can buy these cards. They're actually called the UX cards. So you can give them the ones that you feel are appropriate for the site, and then they're going to group things. So that would be like, okay, this would be page 1, this would be our second page, etc. Kind of like what am I looking? Like if you're going to put all the aces together, or someone likes going Jack, Queen, King, Ace, you see how all the different groups will organize and sort those. Usability lab, so participants work one-on-one with a researcher to work through a set of tasks within a scenario. Ethnographic field studies, so it's done with the participants' natural environment where they would most likely encounter the product or the service. A/B testing, which is big as well. They're given 2 versions of a design and they're asked to complete a set of tasks. So are they responding better to A, or are they responding better to B? Surveys are really great as well. Perhaps not as effective because people think that they're going to click something different, but they might not actually click that certain spot. Surveys, so users are given a survey before, during, or after a task is complete. Clickstream analysis, tools such as Hotjar are used with several participants to uncover patterns of behavior use. That's like that heat map I was talking about. Eye tracking. So eye tracking device measures where the participants look as they perform tasks or interact with web products. So that's again where sitting face to face with someone comes in handy, because you can see if they're like, I can't find, oh, there it is. Or if they automatically go up here, but you have something down here. True intent study. So ask random visitors what their goal or intention is upon entering the site, and measures whether they were successful. And then participatory design. They're asked to build their ideal experience in a way that expresses what matters most to them. All these methods can yield both qualitative and quantitative data and provide best results when used together. And with many more testing methods in existence, it's easy to see how huge the UX research field is. So it is massive. So interviews. A user interview allows the designer to get a one-on-one feel for the potential user's assumptions, beliefs, attitudes, and experiences. Who uses, sorry, my phone's ringing. Who use yours, sounds weird, or similar web products. Typically, these interviews are done in person, but again, overall, a video chat is also helpful. Asking your participant to turn your video on again, so you can see like if they're squinching their eyes, if they're really looking around, etc. User interviews are usually done at the start of a project and are typically combined with other UX research methods. So these types of research help with framing questions for surveys to probe deeper into the user's motivations. A typical interview is about 15 to 30 minutes, usually about 5 to 15 questions. Before conducting the interview, make sure to consider the objectives of the web product. So if you are asking them about a website or say an app, let's say if it's about skip the dishes, your questions should obviously relate to that and what the objectives are. You decide what your objectives are for the Skip the Dishes app. Know what you want to learn from the user to help facilitate design decisions. Have a consistent set of questions for each participant to help the analysis reveal patterns and commonalities. So again, if you're working with 10 people, or even if there's 5 people, say, in your group, and you have to interview 5 people, you should all have the same list of questions that you are providing to your person. Because if you all have different questions and then you get all different answers, you're not going to find any commonality, right? Or any patterns. So keep the tone and manner neutral to not influence a response from a user. Allow the user to respond freely and make sure you listen well. Ask why a lot. Why don't you like that? Why do you use that, etc. A user interview can utilize video, audio, pen, paper, etc., to capture their response. Lots of times now, thanks to Zoom, it's good to record. So obviously get consent to record. But again, it's really great to be able to circle back. They're only 5 to 10 minutes. So it is nice to just be able to go in there and go like, can I just look at their face again when I ask them to do X? User or UX research can take on many forms depending on the project at hand. These types of fields in UX are typically high-paid, skilled positions that are imperative to achieving success for any web-based